Nerges is a girl from Syria. Nerges was taken away by social services 3 years ago. Nerges, who was brutally raped by her foster family. Those who are watching me needs to know the truth, what really happens to our children after they have been taken. Today Nerges will come on camera speaking with all her out of freedom and tell us about the torture she endured. She is breaking the silence. Hello everyone. Nerges is going to tell us today about the real tragedy that she has experienced since she was taken away from her family. Maybe you are going to hear it for the first time in your life. You who are watching me, you who have had your child taken away from you, you must know what happens to our children when they are taken away by social services. Let us start with Nerges. Good evening, Nerges.
Good evening.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
Thank God. I am well. I was very happy that you contacted me. I wish more people would be as brave as you are and would express themselves. Your voice is important and it deserves to be heard. It is important for us to know what happens to you when you are taken away from your family. When was it you were taken from your family? What year?
They took me in the year 2020.
2020 you were taken?
Correct.
Let us know the details. What were the reasons? We want to know the real reason they took you. We want to hear from you how the problems started, whether it was from the doctor, the school, or the home. Did you experience domestic violence? Was there any domestic violence? I want to hear from you what happened because millions of people are listening to you right now, and we want to understand and know what happens to our children. Please tell us what happened and how they took you. Please continue.
Everything started at school. The school sent a request to social services claiming that I was being abused at home and that there were problems and violence in the house. But that was all lies.
So, it was the school who reported concern to social services that you were being abused?
Yes, that's correct.
Was there any abuse at home?
No, there was no abuse at home, not to that extent.
What do you mean by not to that extent? Can you explain to us how it was not to that extent? Did your father hit you or raise his voice? Not all abuse is physical.
My father didn't hit me, but he always used to tell me what is right and what is wrong, what I should do, and what I shouldn't do. He always would tell us from wrong to right.
So, he didn't hit you?
He didn't hit me.
So, he only told you what is right and what is wrong. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What was the reason for the school to send a report to social services? How did they come up to that conclusion?
It all started when I heard about my brother's death. I was only 14 years old back then.
How did your brother die?
I heard my parents talking about my brother's death while I was in my bedroom. My situation deteriorated and my mood became increasingly unhappy. I became depressed after my brother's death, which was obviously noticed at school that day.
So, you loved your brother very much?
Yes, I loved him very much. He was my brother. There was no one better than him in the world. I was very attached to him.
So you were in a deep sorrow after hearing the death of your brother?
Yes.
What happened then?
The teacher noticed that I wasn't feeling well, and I felt bad. They thought there was abuse at home, but there was no abuse at home.
So, they imagined that there was abuse after they saw you grieving, because your brother passed away. He was younger than you, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a year and a half younger than me.
So you are depressed and they suspect abuse, so they made a report to social services, right?
Yes, that's correct.
What happened after they reported their concerns?
Following the report of concern to social services, I was interviewed many times, 1,000 times figure of speech. At school without my parents being aware. Additionally, they contacted me on my phone without my parents' knowledge. The social services carried out various actions, of which my parents were not notified of.
Tell us what happened. We want to hear it from you.
They wanted to protect me from my parents. But my parents had done nothing wrong. Nothing. However, they couldn't protect me from the Swedish family, and the man who sexual assault and raped me. Social services couldn't protect me from him.
The old man who raped you.
Yes.
How old was he?
He was 58 years old.
He was 58-year-old. And how old were you at that time that he raped you?
I was between 15 or 14 years old.
Before we move on to this stage, Nerges, you shocked me. When social services were contacting you, you didn't inform your parents that social services were communicating with you while you were at school.
I didn't want to tell them because I was afraid that they would take my sisters and parents away. I was afraid of social services. They really scared me.
Where were you when you were taken? Where were you when you were taken?
They took me from school.
Without the knowledge of your parents? Without notifying them?
On April 20th at 3 p.m., social services removed me from school. The teacher lied and made up stories. She warned me that something terrible would happen to me.
What did the teacher say?
The teacher told me to go for a walk, that I shouldn't be in class because my condition. She said, "Let's go for a walk." As we were walking, a car came into view. I told her I wished to return home, to my parents, my mother and father. She said, "You cannot go back. It is forbidden." I inquired for the reason. The teacher answered, "You'll discover the reason if you go with the police." I was filled with fear. I ran back to school, but the car caught up with me and took me to the police station.
You were 14 years old at that time.
Correct.
It is true that they took you to the social service without sending any notification to your father. And your family was waiting for you at home, oblivious to what was occurring. The social services claimed that your parents were abusing you. But for a fact your brother's death made you depressed, and they took you from school and put you with a 58-year-old man.
Yes.
Did he live alone?
No, he was with his wife.
How were you treated the first time in his house? How did you feel? Did you feel like my father or my family when you were there?
At first, I felt they were strangers to me. I did not know them and they did not know me. They were not like my brother or father. I was scared that day.
You were very afraid when he started harassing you. When did you feel this person started leaning and sexual assault you?
It started after a week.
How did it start? Can you explain this situation? How did you cope during this time? What did you do after you got raped? Please tell us.
I was very afraid when he started to sexually assault me. I couldn't move. I froze. I was frozen in fear. I wanted to scream. But I couldn't. I wanted to speak. But I couldn't do anything. I wanted to call the police. But I didn't have a mobile or anything else. The social services forbid me to have one. So he started sexually assaulting me, touching me all over my body.
We'll make sure you get your voice heard. We don't let our daughters and children be victimized for this kind of thing. 1 week he started harassing you, but where was his wife? Have you thought about talking to his wife? That her husband is doing this to you?
I tried to talk to her, but she did not believe me.
So every time she goes he starts harassing you.
Yes, that's correct.
What happened next? Don't cry. Your tears are precious. You are with us now. Have faith in me. We're fighting the world together. And we will make sure that your voice is heard, no matter what challenges we face. No country has encountered such a situation before. What happened after a week?
Every day I got more and more scared. Because he didn't want to stop raping me. So I started cutting my body and hands. And hurting myself. I didn't eat. The foster home became very scared of the situation.
Did you think about telling his wife about what he did to you?
I spoke to his wife, but she wouldn't listen to me. She didn't want to believe me or offer me protection. I told her I couldn't live with him, but she promised I'd be safe because he wouldn't hurt me. She compared our relationship like father and daughter.
You were 14 years old?
I tried to explain how I felt at home with him, that I was scared and uncomfortable, but she didn't believe me and assured me that I wouldn't be treated unfairly.
And then what happened to you?
He raped me.
When is this?
After a few weeks, he raped me and did many things with me. I started screaming. I couldn't talk to the police, nor was I able to do anything at all, because social service never allowed me to have a mobile phone with me.
When he did this to you, where was his wife?
His wife was outside the house.
When he was doing this to you, his wife was outside.
Yes.
After the rape, did you report the rape to the social services or to the perpetrator's wife? And what was your reaction in this situation? What did you do?
The social service did not come and did not visit me at all. For 3 months, they stopped talking to me. So I did not speak to them, so they never saw me, and his wife did not believe me.
Show me your hands. I beg you. Show me. In the name of God, let your voice be heard until it reaches the ends of the world. You are our children. What is happening to you? What is happening to this country? And when we tell people our children are being raped, nobody believes us. Let me see your hand. Let me see you hands. Show me. Leave the phone. Zoom in a bit. What did you do to yourself? This is severe. What did you do to yourself? Why did you do it?
After everything he did to me, and after everything that happened with that man, I tried to commit suicide multiple times.
You tried to commit suicide after all this happened.
Yes.
Why did you try to kill yourself? And you are in a country of laws? A country of laws? Are you in a country of law?
Nobody follows the law.
You told them this man raped you when you were 14 years old. Did they put him in prison?
No.
What did they do with him then?
No, they did not put him in prison.
What are they playing at?
I don't know. The social service wanted to protect me from my family, who did nothing wrong. But they did not want to protect me from a predator.
I mean, you took out your anger and injured your hands.
Yes, it is true.
Did your father know that you had been raped while living with your foster family and that the perpetrator was an older man?
Social services didn't tell my father. I really don't want my parents to know.
Okay, what happened? Did you move out of the house? How long did you stay with the foster family?
5 months.
When did you speak to the social services? When did they come and collect you?
After 4.5 months, they moved me to another foster family, and I spoke to them about what happened.
Did he continue to rape children? And the child Nerges disappeared after she came out with an Arabic voice saying, "Your children are in danger. Your children are being raped." Today, Nerges has disappeared. We do not know if she will come back or not, but she wants to tell the world with her voice that she was wrongfully taken and silenced. Wake up, people and Arabs, your children are in danger, and we hope to see Nerges again so we can continue the conversation.